working directly we'll be working directly with those property owners and or tenants that are occupying those buildings. And it is important to note that this is in coordination with the Globeville Area Swansea, acronym GES, program of projects. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. So this work has to happen in advance of those projects. So we've been coordinating pretty closely with the city and county of Denver on this, being that the GES program of projects is the catalyst for Denver Water's timeline. And I do encourage you all to visit denverwater.org/pipes for additional information surrounding our project. And on there, you can also find an interactive map that will show the pipe replacement location, also shown behind me. And we'll be sharing this with the folks in the area as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my colleague Aria to talk to you a little bit more about the project details.
Thank you. Next slide, please.
Let's see if it works, you guys. Might not.
Not yet.
I don't know why it's doing that. Every time it makes me so sorry, you guys. Let's try this.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so as she mentioned, we are going to be doing this replacement project along Washington Street. As you can see on the map in front of you there, it is in 2 phases. So we will be starting on the south end at 48th Avenue, working north. This work is going to require a full closure of Washington Street, just given where we have to install the new water main. So that obviously gives us limited detour options in the area. And therefore, we went through a noise variance process to request doing this work at night. This was approved by DDPHE on July 11th. So we'll be completing this work during nighttime hours to help minimize impacts to traffic, business access, deliveries, that kind of a thing. So hopefully that will help. This is going to occur Sunday through Thursday from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. And we intend to start on Sunday, September 8th, which is next Sunday. And we expect the work will last about 2 months. We're expecting about 6 to 8 weeks, but we need to build in a little bit of cushion in case anything comes up that is unexpected. Next slide, please. Not yet. There we go. Okay, perfect. So moving on then to the public outreach here. Some of you may already receive some communications from us. We sent out a mailed notification regarding the public hearing for the noise variance. We sent out a project overview mailer earlier this month. This includes the details, working hours, traffic impacts, etc. And then we will also be delivering door hangers to folks before our crews mobilize in the area to remind them that we're coming. We'll post on social media, we'll update city council, we'll reach out to RNOs. So if there's any way to help us get this information out there, we would definitely appreciate your help. We want people to know what's coming. And then during the project, we will stay in communication with folks, especially about things like water outages, coordination with that. If there's any impacts to fire lines or things, we will be working directly with people affected. We are reporting to DDPHE on a weekly basis. And residents that live right along the corridor and are eligible for hotel vouchers can contact Denver Water to stay in a hotel room if the nighttime noise is becoming too much of a nuisance. So we have shared contact information for that. We will also be sending out, there's a mailer going out for the hotel vouchers and some door hangers as well. And then we really wanted to make sure we left some space for questions. So with that, that was kind of a high level summary. And do you have any questions about the project?
This is Myra. Will you be providing the flyers and mailers and even the door hangers in multiple languages, or at least in Spanish and English?
Yes. Yep. All of our content is in both Spanish and English.
Great. And then after this meeting, will you provide any of the information you want us to share out with our families, like on our social media or newsletter?
Yeah, I think, if is the best way to do that, to share that with you, Anthony, and then you can kind of broadcast it to the group. Is that
Yes.
okay? Yeah, we can definitely do that, and we'd really appreciate your
Great.
help with that.
Yeah, of
And then could
course.
you
And
also send, oh, go ahead, Myra, sorry.
sorry, one more wonder. I saw that there might be hotel vouchers for some of the families, and I just want to make sure that due diligence is done on the hotels you provide them for, just because one of the things that have happened with our asylees from Venezuela was that some of the hotels they were assigned to had bed bugs, unfortunately, and so I want to make sure that that's something we flag, just to be sure that when we're doing this for our families, they go somewhere where they're not going to encounter something like that.
I would think that that's an expectation, so I'm sorry that they went through that. But yes, we will do our homework. Completely agree.
Thank
And
Okay.
then real quick, Aria, will you send this to me and then I will send it out to the CAC distribution list as well?
The presentation?
Yeah, the presentation.
Sure can.
Great, thanks.
I think
Kyle,
he had his hand up.
Yeah, hi ladies. Nice to see both of you again.
Hi.
We actually just had an operations meeting today and discussed we had no idea what the start date was, so glad to hear. Do you have an idea, because we are right at 50th and Washington, where you will be starting on Sunday, or?
We're going to be starting at 48th and then working north. So we're coordinating with some other detours that are going to be in the area. So we'll be starting south and working north. And you are actually on our list to contact and kind of work through some of those specifics. So you'll hear from us in the next couple of days.
Great, thank you so much.
Of course.
Aria, I have a couple of other questions. So it's nighttime, did you say it's Thursday to Sunday?
Sunday to Thursday. So we won't work
Sunday to-
Friday or Saturday nights, correct?
Okay, Sunday to Thursday. And if we're hosting an event on a Thursday, would we be able to maybe communicate and work with you directly if it's an evening event to delay the start of construction on that particular evening, or try to
That's
coordinate?
something we can bring it up with the project team. We're on a pretty tight deadline right now. We do have our noise variance through the end of October, so we have to finish this work by October 31st. But I do think that, yes, if there are things going on, let us know. Marcy has also sent us a calendar of some of the events, so we're going to share that with our on-site staff so that they can make sure they're aware and prepared for that.
Terrific. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, any other questions that anyone might have? And again, I will make sure I send the presentation out to everyone once the recording is uploaded and site for the meetings in both English and Spanish. I will then include this presentation. Thank you both for joining us. I know you had another meeting to go to or another community event, so I just want to thank you for joining us this evening.
Of course, thank you, and reach out with any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
gals.
Bye-bye.
Next on the agenda is we have an update from the mayor's office of the National Western Center, Mike Sharp. Mike.
Great, thanks, Anthony. Well, that was a great segue. There's two topics that we wanted to cover tonight. One is the GES program of projects that was just mentioned. And the other is the outreach work group for the triangle scenario planning that's coming. And I apologize, I don't have slides, so I'm just gonna speak to these. As Denver Water referenced, we, being the city, looking at the large volume and number of construction projects that are happening, either in design now, going to construction on the books in the next 18 to 24 months. We are taking steps internally to set up a GES program of projects group to make sure that all of this construction is coordinated and that we're minimizing impacts to the GES community. It's still in its early stages. We're working on getting, maps and websites and information, but the Denver Water is a great example. That is one project that's coming. It's not city led, obviously, But we reached out to them to make sure that we are layering that into a long list that we have and making sure that we line up those schedules. It's not gonna be perfect, but we're gonna do the best we can to make sure that we are minimizing impacts to residents, to local businesses, to the campus, and events that are gonna be happening. To our own construction, right, because we have the livestock center, we'll have the equestrian center happening, the stock shows legacy building. There's just a lot going on in these neighborhoods. So we are actually bringing some additional resources on. We're hiring a person to help us coordinate all of this in between all the departments. So more to come, but just wanted to acknowledge that Denver Water is sort of the leading edge of this. And that we recognize that there will be impacts, and we are doing everything we can to try to mitigate that as much as possible. And on that note, I think Marcy has an update on some additional construction that will be coming soon. And so again, we're still standing this up and we're sort of still forming in the background here. We will be reporting out regularly moving forward to this group. And then, as I said, there'll be other resources that we can share, websites and things where people can go to get the information they need. But this is a sneak preview because things are already happening. Go ahead, Marcy.
All right. Hi, thanks, Mike. I'm gonna just share my screen real quick. Can you guys see?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is coming soon. It's one of the projects that we're helping coordinate with all the other projects going on, and it's the Franklin Street Bridge rehabilitation, and that the bridge is at the corner of Franklin and Race Court, kind of across the street from the Live Well. You can see the work area is here over here in the red. And it's really just the rehabilitation. So they're doing some bridge maintenance, hangers, resurfacing, braces and things like that are gonna happen on the bridge. And this work is going to be starting on September 9th. And somebody wants in this room right now, if you heard the dog bark. September 9th through 13th. And we're going to be sending out 2 flyers on this. This first work is this partial closure down to 1 lane crossing the bridge, so they can get kind of set up and get some of the underwork in place. And then phase 2 will start on September 16th through the 29th. So there will be, it's 14 days, and that will be a full closure of this bridge. And the detours in place will use the 51st Avenue. So you can, when you come over, you'll take 51st. You can either go Race Court through National Western Drive out to 46th, or again across 51st, going to turn to Emerson, 52nd, etc., to be able to go over to 54th to bypass and then back over there. And we've been coordinating really closely with Denver Water. Their start is south on Washington Street. So by the time this work is done is when they start to move over towards that area. So there should not be any conflicts in this area. And another piece of coordination is not a city project, but Metro Water they've been working on a water, I think it's a water line or a storm line. I think it's a storm line actually, over off of 54th in Franklin. And that work you may have seen over the last couple of months, which has been paused. They have to do the water line tie-in. And so they are going to, which will include a closure at 54th Street in Franklin. Once that, but they are waiting until this Franklin Bridge reconstruction is complete. Then they will go ahead, once that's back open, they will work and do the 54th tie-in at that point. And that won't be a very long closure, they just have to tie in some of the lines that they've already been working on. They're still working to give us some more information on that, but it's been great that they were able to wait to do their closure, so you don't have a closure to a closure, and then where does everybody kind of detour. So as Mike said, we're really trying to work closely on everything that's going on and making sure that things don't conflict and send people in different areas. And then with this Franklin Bridge, we're working closely with our contractors because some of our haul routes obviously use Franklin to contain those haul routes over to from National Western Drive, 46th, and then back out on Washington to I-70, or pop over to Brighton, or I guess that goes to I-25, and then I-70 through Brighton. boulevard. So still keeping any of that large traffic contained inside the campus and with quick exits and entrances off of the major freeways. So this flyer, this information actually is just going out in the next couple of days. We're just getting it translated. We just wanted a couple, check a few things on the work hours. But I think the information that you see here tonight is accurate. We just got some updates actually in a meeting earlier today, but so comments, they're planning to get this work done, I think, really pretty quickly. So excited about that.
Great, thank you, Marcy.
Any questions?
Any questions from Marcy, from anyone? Online, any questions? Okay, thank you, Marcy.
Welcome.
And take it back to Mike.
Great. So I guess one more just note on that. Marcy and I are the messengers. We are trying really, really hard to coordinate a lot of work that's happening through other city departments that have their own project managers and own comms teams and timelines. But we know how impactful it is to these neighborhoods. And so we're doing our best and we'll continue to do so. But just know that we don't necessarily have direct control. When there are conflicts, we just ask for a little bit of grace and know that we are trying our hardest to make sure that we're minimizing impacts to residents. So the second point I wanted to cover was a quick update on the triangle. So the triangle is the area to the southeast of this part of campus. It's where the existing stock show facilities are. And it's also known as future phases. And we will be engaging in a planning effort around, it's about 65 acres over there. That planning effort will start later this year and we'll go through next spring. The result of that planning effort will be a new or a revised site plan for the future of the triangle. And all the things that need to happen and all opportunities for things that can happen there. So we're excited about that. As we lead up to that, we have initiated a community outreach work group that we had an application out. I presented at that the past CAC. We now have all of our applicants in, and we are finalizing that group. It looks like there'll be around 17 folks. We decided to include everyone who met the basic criteria of living and or working in the GES neighborhoods. So we're really excited to be able to take everybody. It's a big group, but we thought it was really important to be as inclusive as possible and have all voices at the table. We are asking this group to help us craft our outreach and engagement strategy for the scenario planning. Really wanting to make sure that we are using the best tools and strategies to get to everybody where they are, to make sure that we are getting a good broad cross-section of the communities. So if that's, different meeting times, different meeting options, are they virtual meetings, in person, are we providing childcare, is there food? Just the whole list of things that will make us successful in getting good engagement from GES. They will be meeting over the next probably 6 to 8 weeks as we lead up to scenario planning. And then we may also sort of check back with them through the scenario planning process to check on how we're doing. Like, are we really getting the participation? Are we getting the folks? Do we need to take different approaches? Flyering is also very important that we already know. Making sure that we're getting the message out around this. So we aren't ready quite yet to share that group publicly. We want to make sure that all of those members are comfortable with that. And so more to come, and we will be reporting back to CAC as that process evolves over the next couple months. Any questions around that?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
When do you think the planning effort will start? So you're formulating your outreach, but when do the planning meetings start?
Yes.
And people actually come and hear some of the ideas and
Yep.
options?
Yep, we will start some meetings this year. The initial meetings will probably be a lot of background and information and level setting. Just to make sure folks understand sort of the whole arc of all the planning that's gone on, the history of the neighborhood, and what this planning effort is trying to achieve. So yes, we will start this year, probably late October, early November, before the holidays.
Great. Any other questions for Mike and or Marcy from anyone? Seeing none, all right, so we will be adding you to the agenda each month.
Yes,
Forward.
please.
Yes,
On
absolutely.
both those, on the GES program of projects.
Will that be you as well, or will that be Chris from Dottie OCBE or someone else?
TBD for now. I'll at least be here. I'll be here, so I can report out, but if you want to bring other folks in as that.
I'll let you all decide that. Just let me know and I'll make sure they get the invite. Okay, we will move on now to National Western Center updates. And the first is the Equestrian Center Hotel Parking Garage update, and Jared is going to be providing that update for us. So,
All right, so some of this might be redundant for some of you, but for those that might not have seen context, we'll move quickly through just kind of some reminders of what we're doing relative to the equestrian facility. So just to start off with, I think most of you guys know that there's an arena component, the stables, or rather large stable barn, also a parking structure and hotel. Working right now to determine precise number of parking stalls and hotel rooms, but making good progress there. First, I'd like to start out with just a quick reminder of some of our partners that are primary to this project. Community Activation Partners is the name of the broader team that's come together to help us make this project happen, led by Fengate Development. Primary contractor is Hensel Phelps, with development partners in McWinney and Sage, programming by OVG, and the primary architect being Perkins and Will with 4240 on the hotel. So those are some of the players that'll be important here in a minute when we talk about some of the opportunities to work with this team. But wanted to remind some of you of who some of our primary partners are. The next slide is just a very high level snapshot of the schedule that we're working to accomplish. You can see design progressing into mid-25 with a projected start of on-site construction, ideally in June of 25, and we're working to secure that through the design, the permitting, financing structures, and so forth to make that start happen. With the goal that we're really pushing hard to complete this project in its entirety for the stock show in 2028. Some of the there at the bottom, you can kind of see a little bit of our community outreach process and the topics that we want to cover. So we've just started recently working into the jobs component. We have, and we'll talk more about this in a second. We've narrowed down the location for the community space. We'll talk more about that in a second, but you can kind of see how that all lays out. Let's move to the next one, please. A little bit about jobs. Some of the opportunities for work on site aren't here yet, but that doesn't mean that work can't be done, and planning for those jobs when the time is right. And we'll share some resources here in a second, but you can kind of see some of the opportunities for apprenticeship, resume workshops, and so forth that could be done now. As I said, construction on site could be as early as June. And we're happy to work with anyone who's interested to make sure that you're in contact with the right folks. There's also opportunities for local businesses, both small and otherwise, that might be interested in being part of the project. And again, we'll show some resources here in a second. And then, of course, the ongoing campus operations opportunities, both with the authority, with the National Western, with the hotel when that property comes online. So lots of exciting things coming. Many of them are a bit down the road. We want to make sure that everybody's in the loop and has an opportunity to plan for and to be active in preparing. And again, as Anthony said earlier, this will all be online so that you guys can reference it. So no need to scribble quickly, but for those individuals that might be interested, the workforce section has some resources that you all might want to check out. If you have any questions or concerns, trouble getting in touch with some of these organizations, we'd be happy to help. And then on the local business side, on the right side there, also a little bit of a head start and some of the resources that are available to get plugged in and stay part of the information that will be coming out. The next and an exciting thing is this is sort of the floor plan and footprint of this project and its various components. But what I'd like to share with you a little bit here this evening is a reminder of where the community space is on the west side, up against the riverfront. We have worked with many in this room and others to arrive on the best location to make sure that that's a really successful and usable space that's a benefit to the community. For those that haven't been part of that conversation, it's generally 4,000 square feet of interior space and some exterior space as well that will be useful for flexibility and different functions that might take place in that community building. And then, so we're working with the design team to bring forward some concepts and some imagery to share with you all and get some feedback. That's probably a couple of months out. But also wanted to talk what's labeled here, wanted to share with you about an opportunity that we want to make sure has really great synergy with that community space. For lack of a better term, right now we're using the build to. And really what that is giving a nod to is the city, county of Denver have plans that require a certain amount of the property being built very close to the street to activate and engage the pedestrian space there and the streetscape. And so partly to respect all of that, but also because I think there's a really cool opportunity there to activate that section of National Western and the riverfront. We are evaluating a bunch of different options to see what might work best in this space. But the theme that we're pursuing right now is urban ag, or as the term we've been using recently is activated agriculture. So we've got a lot of different ideas about how that may want to work. One of them being hydroponics and the idea of potentially growing some of the food that we would then work with our concessionaire partners and those that are facilitating dinners and events that happen on campus. And so could be a really cool opportunity to look at the future of the way food is going to be grown and delivered. And I think could be a really cool adjacency to that community space as well. So exploring a lot of different ideas. If any of you have things that you would like to bring to us for consideration or any input or what you're hearing about sparks some interest or a thought, we'd love to have your input in that space. But I think there's a really cool opportunity there to collaborate with different entities that are involved on the National Western campus. And we're pretty excited about what that could become. So more information to come, but just again, wanted to feature that element of the project that hasn't really been talked about a lot in these community meetings. And then the last thing, and then we'll take some questions, but just wanted to share with you guys a couple of representative images of some of the massing and the way that this building could be appreciated as you enter the campus. These are by no means final, and I can look at this and already understand some of the modifications that we've already discussed recently that I won't bore this group with, but could be a really cool facility for all of us to be proud of and leverage. Let's go to the next one real quick. So yeah, just a couple of different images of the way that the building is coming together. So with that, we'd love to open up for any questions that you all may have.
What was the last picture of what building? Is that the community space or that was the, no, that's.
No.
That was the West Street.
That's the view from the riverfront open space at the southwest corner of the equestrian center.
Yes.
He said.
Yeah, it's
So
kind
the
of
arena-
directly across from Vita.
Yes, yep, so Vita's just right here on the right. Yeah, exactly.
And the community space would be a little bit.
Yep, a little farther.
Yes. Yep. Kyle?
Hey, I love that you talked about activated agriculture. I think a wonderful connection in the community might be chatting with Grow House, considering they used to have hydroponic, aquaponic gardens. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Great.
Thanks, Kyle. Rachel?
Yeah, I was wondering if, first and foremost, if you're using indigenous and native, like landscaping, and one of the other things that we've heard from the community is that they would like to have access to meeting spaces on the campus and to be able to utilize some of the services that are on campus as well. So just wanted to throw those two things out there.
Yeah, we are pretty early on in the landscape plant selection process, but that has already been talked about. So yeah, appreciate that. And that is part of the plan. And then on the meeting space, the community space that I just referenced on National Western is going to be designed with that in mind. The idea is that it's available for community use first and foremost, maybe exclusively. So yeah, that is the plan. We're designing it for flexibility so that it's gonna be able to service a bunch of different community functions.
Anyone else? Questions for Jared? And again, I'll go ahead and send out his slide presentation as well, as soon as we have the recordings up on our website. Okay, thank you, Jared. Steve wanted me to briefly talk about the National Western, the district sign plan. And you'll recall the last couple of meetings, he went through the district sign plan and shared information about said plan. Currently, the city's Department of Community Planning and Development, CPD, is reviewing the draft of the district sign plan. He has asked me to email that district sign plan out to this group, which I will do so. Comments are due from CAC members by September the 24th, which will be just prior to the next CAC meeting. But I will get that sent out so individuals can review it. He also wanted me to let you know that if you have any questions or want to discuss the document with him, you can reach out to him directly, and I will include all that information when I send out the PDF that's titled the National Western Center Campus District Sign Plan .pdf. Just putting it out there, .pdf. So I will send that out. I may go ahead and send that out sooner and go then waiting for the recordings to be added to our website and the presentations. You'll get a couple of emails from me. Any questions related to the district sign plan that he had shared prior? Great, okay. Lastly, from the National Western Center updates, in communication with several of our community partners, we have come to consensus, and the National Western Center will be hosting the second annual GES Trunk or Treat on the campus. And some of you may recall, and hopefully you got to attend last year's Trunk or Treat event that we held. It was actually on Halloween night. We had over 1,000 people that came. And we know that because we ran out of candy. And we know that because Paul Andrews from the stock show gave out one piece of candy to each person, and he distributed 800 pieces of candy. We had to go get more candy because we ran out of candy from several of the trunks. So we're really excited to once again collaborate and work with our partner organizations. That includes the rec centers, the library, UCSU Spur, Councilman Watson's office. There's probably about 30 to 40 different partners, focus points, Nwca, Birdseed, yeah. So just some of the folks that participated last year. We're excited to again host Rick from, yes, you were part of that last year as well. So we know that we will not host it on Halloween night. So we're put together a planning committee, and our first planning committee meeting is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Virtually via Zoom. If you have an interest in participating and maybe can't attend tomorrow morning, We'll be scheduling meetings every 2 weeks, leading up to the event in late October. So there is opportunity for you, if you would like to participate in the planning of that event. Would love to have your participation. This really is a community-led, planning process. We're just happy to offer the space, the North Plaza, and in case of inclement weather, we will just take the event inside into the Stockyards Arena. So hopefully it will be pleasant weather. And we're really excited that planning is underway, and we'll provide updates next month and as needed. Any questions about our trunk or treat event? Seeing none, okay. Any public comment for the good of the order? Oh, happy to volunteer again. Kyle, thank you. Oh, yes, Kyle was our driver last year, so we will have transportation. We will have shuttle buses or shuttle vans that will pick up at the 4 rec centers and bring community to the National Western Center. We have a schedule of drop-offs and pickups during that 2-hour time frame. Go ahead, AE.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't a public comment. I just wanted to add to the scoping of the, as you're looking, when you're talking activating agriculture, and I apologize, I didn't catch the name of the gentleman that gave the report for the area adjacent to the community area. Who was that?
That was Jared.
Jared, would you be the direct contact to get a full scope of the organizations out here that have been working in urban agriculture and all kinds of things? And Grow House is great. It's one of many over many years. Are you okay with us just sending you direct contacts, or are you willing to come out and see what people are doing and that kind of a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. We are actively entertaining all solutions at this point. We're working to make sure that we find the best way to activate that space and create synergies, not just with the community space, but around campus. So yeah, we'd be happy to do that. And I'm actively out looking at other facilities and potential partners currently. So yes, please.
Great. And just in the interest of the grand aspirations of the long conversation about how activated agriculture could be interwoven with the entire National Western Center campus, I just want to pay tribute to the conversations that hopefully can become part of this, that this is great to have a small section of an area plan bringing this in, and I hope we can leverage it to return to some of the more campus-wide discussions that have come out over the years regarding local production and economy and demonstration gardens and all kinds of things. And so I just want to pay tribute to that, because we face the danger that these areas that are designated as community serving by name are going to look tokenistic if we don't realize the values need to be rich. I'll use the word fecund across the whole campus. So we can talk more about that well beyond the scope of the CAC and out in the general population. Thanks. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, AE. Jared, can you put Jared's email in? We're gonna put Jared's email in the contact, or Jared's contact information in the chat before we wrap up. Okay, anyone put public comment before we wrap up? Oh, lastly, I just we'll discuss this at the September CAC meeting. I believe our November CAC meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November the 27th, which happens to be the day before Thanksgiving. So we will ask the CAC if they would like, we're not making that decision, but we will ask the CAC if they would like to move the meeting up a week or keep the meeting on the 27th. And we will discuss that at our September CAC meeting. So if you could be thinking about that, it was brought to my attention that it is close to the Thanksgiving holiday, but want to be respectful that the CAC will determine if we change the date or not. So more to come on that in September. And if no one has anything else, we will let everyone go, to enjoy your evening. So thank you for attending and joining us tonight.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Was it-
Yeah, and